Bethesda is garbage, and there is something to replace it. I'm obviously talking about Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon. What, did you honestly think I will mention avowed or the Outer Worlds? Obsidian is completely garbage. I mean, there is nothing that can be done at this point to save Obsidian. Tim Kaine can do whatever he wants with Obsidian. It's not gonna make them make even a single good game at this point. And Bethesda's gone. But Tainted Grail is here, and it's here to stay, and it's amazing. We already talked about the new expansion a little bit. Now let's see what other people have to say about it, because again, massive Tainted Grail fan, great game, love it.
Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today. Hope you're all doing absolutely excellent, because today we are gathering to talk about Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon. And I'm really excited about today's video because they dropped a massive update into the game today. But not only that, we also have a new expansion coming to the game next week, which was completely unexpected here. So there's a lot to talk about in the world of Tainted.
Remember, if a game does well, it's gonna have an expansion, because an expansion is a fraction of the price, and you can always expect to sell like 30% of your initial sales. So, it's pretty much always just free money. So, Ghost of Yotei, where is your expansion? Assassin's Creed Shadows, well, Assassin's Creed Shadows got its first expansion, but it was announced and mandated. But it's not getting its second expansion, because you know why? Because no one likes it. Oh yes, but Tainted Grail, this is exciting.
Tainted Grail, because this isn't the first update we got this year. They also dropped update 1.1 earlier this year, which added major new systems to the game, as well as rebalancing the entirety of the game. So there's a...
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that's okay. Tainted Grail is a great game, but 1.1 is a little bit of an overreach when you say new systems, okay? It added transmog? It added New Game Plus. New Game Plus is kind of nice, not gonna lie, I guess. I have a save with my rogue in New Game Plus, but other than that, no, not really anything, no. In any case, 1.1 was nice, but it wasn't like a game changer, honestly. It was pretty nice, though.
A lot to get into here, but also for those who are not caught up, we did impressions on Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon earlier in the year. We checked it out, and after playing the first act of the game, I was really high on the game. I said this might be one of the best games of the year, at least for my taste, because I love, of course, as many of you know, these immersive first-person RPGs. And not only did Tainted Grail remind me a lot of Elder Scrolls and the best parts of it, the ability to wander, explore, talk with everyone, interact with the environment in any imaginable way, but it also reminded me of The Witcher. It reminded me of Dark Souls. There was a level of difficulty here, but it was also very dark fantasy.
Any imaginable way is a little bit overblown.
Very brooding, very grim. As I got deeper in the game, just to keep it real with you all, and it's going to play into the whole story.
Wait, what the hell is this? Oh, it doesn't attack like that. I had no idea. It just died when I killed it. Makes sense. 1,500% backstab damage multipliers.
To keep it real with you all, and it's going to play into the whole story of these updates and why I'm excited again. My opinion of the game did fall off, and I would argue that by Act 3, kind of dramatically so, because of the balancing in...
Yeah, Act 3 is probably the weakest dialogue-wise. I want to hear other people's opinions about it and then correct them, because obviously... Like the video, by the way. Like it right now. It takes less than a second. I greatly appreciate anyone who likes it. I really do. So, you know, like it. And if you think this information's important, well, thank you.
Combat. It was just a real struggle for me as someone who was engaging in the side content and doing all the main content and really tweaking my build and even going to the length of looking up builds online because I'm like, maybe I'm just the idiot here. And
you know what I actually regret? Not finding this guy in Act 3.
Maybe I'm just the idiot here and trying out the most busted stuff in the game. I really struggled to love Tainted Grail in the third act as much as I did in its first act. And that was again...
Yeah, the third act is a little bit iffy, so to speak. I think it's because of the dialogue. The third act is just... You kind of feel like you're not able to do what you kind of want to do, which feels strange because technically you have it. decisions, it's kind of nice when decisions don't lead to the things that you want them to lead to, that you need to make some harder choices, I guess, at some point, kinda. But a lot of the dialogue just completely missed. A lot of the dialogue just completely missed. My mage is killing all of those barbarians, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna be it.
And mainly due to the balancing. The zones themselves and the exploration was really good, but it was just hard to hang with because of the combat. That seems to have been taken care of, and I'm really excited to try this game out with all of these updates, because before all of this that we're going to talk about today, they dropped update 1.1, which was the biggest update to the game at that point in time. And as you can see here, they added a bunch of new features to the game: new game plus, transmog system, new equipment, adjustments to the third-person camera perspective, which I always give them credit for because they just added that in since fans were asking for it, but they did warn you when you switch.
Yeah, this was 1.1.
That camera mode, like, hey, the game's not really built around this. So them adjusting that was cool to see. New weapons and armor, new dungeons, new quests, bug fixes, and most importantly for me, as you can see in this next page here, a rebalancing. So they've nerfed items, they introduced new enemies, but they also rebalanced entire weapon and armor set. They rebalanced the damage dealt for specific tiers of weapons, and the list goes on here. So they did all of this, by the way, for free, and threw it into the game. Now, I haven't played it since, but I'm excited and now waiting until next week.
I mean, they have a history of actually changing the game
Because
and updating it for the better.
Because today we got patch 1.15, but next week we are getting the Sanctuary of Sarras expansion, which I want to talk about today. Plus, there's free DLC. There's a lot to get into today, but I'm just so impressed that this independent team packed this much into their game for free, and then now are doing their first expansion at what I think looks like a fair price for what we're getting out of it. So let's start breaking it down, ladies and gentlemen. You already saw update 1.1. Let's talk about patch 1.15. They write in here, the main focus here was optimization across all platforms. So let's just pause there for a moment. One of the biggest critiques of this game right now is its performance on PS5. It's not really great at all. Now, they do mention here that there should be a big improvement seen on Xbox. They talked about on PlayStation 5. And you know what? Here's the thing. I admire the transparency here. It's not going to be an answer I think you love to hear if you're on PlayStation, but I do like that they're being very direct about what exactly is happening.
I'm pretty sure no one is playing it on consoles in general, okay? This is purely, obviously, a Skyrim type of thing. And, well, there's literally a mod menu now. So I would not be surprised if people started modding the hell out of this game. And I, for one, actually will support it. This game modded would be really good.
Happening here, their communication style is great. And they say here, regarding PlayStation 5, we're working really hard on this platform, but the issues we're facing mostly come from how Unity handles graphics on PS5, which we can't change, and unfortunately, memory allocation as well. This makes fixes tricky, but we're digging through systems and rewriting parts of the game to find any solutions. And our internal tests show that we're getting closer to significantly reducing crashes, and we hope to push an update that should be able to help when Sarras launches. This crash fixing
blah blah blah. If you're a gamer, just buy a PC. It doesn't matter if it's expensive. I mean, a lot of things are expensive in life, let me tell you that, okay? But you know, a PC is still better than wasting money on an Xbox or a console.
Patch will, of course, be available to everyone, not only those who decide to buy the expansion. All in all, the struggle for better performance on PS5 continues, and we're doing everything we can on our end to improve the situation. We hope to have more good news in February, but we can't promise anything. It's not entirely in our hands. Still, today's patch should offer a small boost to performance and stability. We're really sorry for all the trouble, and thank you for your patience. I personally, how I receive these sorts of things is, number one, you do get a little bit of leeway when you're an indie team because you can't throw around your weight more than big AAA companies. But number two, I always value transparency sometimes over the problem itself. It's like, okay, this is why it's happening. You have a goal in mind. You're not over-promising saying like, hey, even come February, this is going to be fixed. So what this tells PlayStation fans is clear as day. Maybe you just want to hold off. And I can respect that sort of communication style. It's like, yeah, we're maybe not going to be where we want to be by that point in time in February. And I think for those of you who are out there looking at this and want to get in, it is frustrating, but at least you can make an educated purchasing decision based upon that. Like maybe you have an Xbox and you go play there because it got a big boost. Maybe you played on PC. You're getting a new PC. I don't know. So I think information is great here. But what else is being added into update 1.15 here. Well, first and foremost are 3 items that were supposed to arrive in update 1.1, but also they've adjusted things like how much experience is gained from quests and enemies in New Game Plus. They've tweaked quests, they've fixed bugs. You can even see in the UI, they added a vignette and chromatic aberration toggle in the setting. They added an option to change the game's font if you'd like to go ahead and do that, which I personally like, because, I mean...
Oh, yeah. Kind of nice, I guess.
You know, that stuff can look kind of generic, so it's nice to switch that out. But let's get to the real meat and potatoes here. The new expansion launching next week, December 15th, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, or your regional equivalent. And it's $15 US because, as they describe it here, it should not be in the same category as DLC, where there are just a few cosmetic skins. So they're saying this is a journey, this is an adventure. What's in...
I don't know. I think of expansions nowadays the same as DLCs pretty much. Like, what is honestly the difference? I do not know, nor do I care. I think this is the same semantic type of argument that real people don't actually care about. It's like, oh, is it a remaster or is it a remake? No, I don't care. Minecraft now.
In this journey, what's in this adventure? Let's start breaking it down. They say the journey will take you to the titular sanctuary, a realm shaped by the deep sea. Ancient structures rise from the ever-shifting currents, and forgotten paths pulse with the life of a submerged world. But try not to get charmed, as when you begin to explore the unknown, the true nature of Sarras starts to surface. For 6 centuries, the fate of Sarras and its rebel crew has been shrouded in myth. Now a hidden passage reveals a path into the past.
The Fate of Sarras. That's not the ship from Act 1, right? I don't know.
In a completely new storyline, follow the trail of Nimue and the deserters who challenged King Arthur. Piece together the truth behind their disappearance and Merlin's horrible retribution. So yeah, this will practically be a whole new act for the game with 10 to 15 hours of gameplay, a new storyline, interesting characters, and multiple side quests. As mentioned before, there are tons of new content coming. Not to spoil everything, but you have 4 new boss fights, 12 unique regular enemies, more than 20 handcrafted dungeons and interiors.
By the way, like, in general, Fall of Avalon, one of the best things that they do is world building. Not lore-wise. Lore is okay. But actual, like, literally world building, how they structure it, how they place things there, how things feel and whatnot. And dungeons. Dungeons all feel unique. They all feel unique. No question about it. It is really an experience, okay? You cannot really expect to enter a dungeon and it feels like the same thing. This is not even close. I have been in a lot of dungeons, okay? And none of them feel the same. You can tell that they're the same tile, not the tiles, but the same look, the same aesthetic, but they feel different. They always feel completely different. It's great. It absolutely is great. This is not even close to that, you know, Starfield BS. If you have been in three of the same type of locations, you have seen them all type of deal.
And over 100 equipment pieces, including armor, #Fashion Grail, melee weapons, bows, rings, amulets, spells, relics, and more. So yeah, all of that for $15, but there's more. They say the expansion will also feature an alternate progression system. Activate sacred shrines to gain special skill points to spend within 3 new distinct skill trees. You can level them up.
Oh, that was the thing that we saw. I haven't read this, so I have seen a trailer, but I have not read the announcement or anything. Okay, so that's how you get them. Okay. I honestly feel that this is probably a little bit OP, because my rogue is, well, unkillable effectively. Yeah, pretty much unkillable, honestly. And, well, you know, stuff like that. And my mage currently is playing on the hardest difficulty. I'm not really having a lot of problems with, well, anything, to be honest. Playing a rogue was way more challenging because I did not want to do stealth archer. Well, admittedly, at the end of the game, if I could use stealth archery, I just did sometimes, you know, when it felt like it. But rogues are pretty good, you know? Run away behind a corner crouch. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Classic.
The same time, and choose which one is...
It feels really good how OP you can get into this game. I actually saw someone just do a straight up sword and board type of melee character, and the stuff that I did in the game was not even close. Not even close to what other people have done in the game and what kind of over stuff and things like that they have done, okay? It is very interesting to see what other people have done. And the basic fucking sword and board approach, by the way, just deletes enemies off the screen. My rogue's unkillable, but I mean, the damage that I do is, well, it's decent. But it's not the most decent, okay?
Active at any moment. This will allow you to change your build on the fly and adapt quickly. And for those who are interested, you don't need to finish the game to enter this expansion. To access Sanctuary of Sarras, you only need to have accessed Act 2. So yeah, you get a whole new quest line, new boss fights, tons of new enemies, 100 pieces of loot, 20 plus handcrafted dungeons is kind of crazy.
You know what's the worst part about playing a stealth, the stealthy, sneaky class? It's the fact that enemies literally can never hear you. And enemies can barely see you even if you're not stealthed. So, you know what's the biggest improvement that they can do for stealth players? It's make melee weapons stealth attack from the back even if you're not crouched, okay? Do that. Do that. Just do that, okay? Because the fact that I can just sprint up to someone, literally anything at the end game, and they have no idea I'm there. And sometimes I'm sprinting up to enemies and I'm like this close to them, and then they start. Oh, I'm going to attack you, and I'm like, oh, those are enemies, not allies, huh? Oops, again.
And also a new progression system, all for $15. Just on paper and looking at the trailer alone, this is awesome bang for your buck already. And when you think about it this way, at least on Steam right now, the game was $45, which I thought was a very fair price. I know some people may think at the earlier part of the video I was being maybe a little too critical of it because of that price tag. But look, when you combine that with the fixes for free, now the expansion, this slots in at a combined very nice $60. And I imagine this pricing was very strategic and well done, because now it just fits in nicely. Like, you want to buy a nice full game here that's been completely retuned from top to bottom, has a ton of new features ready to go, plus a new expansion added in here. Boom, $60, you're good to go. So now it's like at that full priced mark. And based on their wording here, they said first expansion. It also means that for those of you who maybe are on PlayStation, unfortunately sitting on the side, don't want to go through all the tech issues, that waiting may be to your benefit, because it sounds like a second expansion is on the way. And
yeah, that's also great. By the way, does this remind you of New Earth? This reminds me so heavily of New Earth for some reason.
Tech issues, that waiting may be to your benefit, because it sounds like a second expansion is on the way. And no doubt they'll continue to support this game, likely packing in even more. So I found this to just be a really pleasant surprise, but again, there's more. And
oh, I know this place.
The way I'm talking about this, it sounds like we're talking about a AAA developer. Like, there's more, and there's more, and there's more. This is an indie team, and most of this is for free. Speaking of which, there are 5 new free armor sets being added to the game right now alongside the update we were talking to you about. Those are Fordweller, Champion, Harbinger, Weaver, and Unhallowed Divinity. And I will just say this, man. The armor in this game goes hard. That's why the transmog system is much appreciated, because this game went through the same issues that a ton of games have before.
Oh, also, if you're gonna play a rogue, again, do not play a rogue. That is for special people like me. And I don't mean special in the good type of way, okay? Playing a dagger-wielding rogue is really hard. You know how I literally spent the majority of the game as? I had 2 weapons, an amulet, a ring, and most of the time I got gloves. That's it. You could not use any other gear pieces, because then you would be medium over medium weight. Is it? Yeah, it's weight. Medium weight, and you need lightweight to actually stealth around, because that's kind of how it should be. Until the end of the game, I was not using all items. Well, actually, at the end of the game, I was using all items finally, but, you know, still, until the last, like, I don't know, 15% of the game, I was not using all slots and items, because it was impossible to get the weight light. It was just such a chore, really. That, again, do not play melee stealth unless you're ridiculously special in all the wrong ways.
where a lot of pieces look really cool, but you're kind of just focusing on your stats instead of your fashion. Especially in this game where enemies hit really hard, it's very nice to be able to, you know, do both now. Like focus on
enemies do hit hard, but a little bit of in endurance, and suddenly it does get a lot easier, to be honest, if you just level endurance properly. And you don't need a lot. I would say 10 points in endurance, maybe 15, I don't know. 10 to 15-ish points in endurance, and you can probably not worry about getting one shot ever again, or, you know, come close to a situation like that if you're playing range, mage, or rogue.
your stats and then make it look really nice. And so just having all these armor sets is also really good, but you're getting all of this combined for $60, which I think is really good. And for me, as someone who was, I'd say, pretty critical of the second and third act of the game, I'm excited to hop back in and see what this is all about. I finished the game, so I imagine what I'll have to do is either load up an old save file or New Game Plus this, get through the first act pretty quickly, and get ready for this new expansion. I don't know, because obviously, as I've talked about a lot on the channel and on podcasts, I really have so many other games to play, but knowing that this is defined in their write-up here as a 10 to 15 hour experience makes it a lot more palatable for me. That was one thing I really did like about this game, because I'm looking at Steam right now, and when I look at Tainted Grail here in my library, my total playtime for this game was not very high. It actually came in at just over 30 hours. And so you combine that with the expansion, like, it's again a very big game. Like, there's a lot of side content there, but there's plenty more to be done beyond.
Yeah, I mean, this game is easily going to be like 20 to 30 hours for the average player if you do not indulge in the side quests or exploration.
What I saw with the game, because as I said, as I started to enjoy it less, I was kind of like ready to just be done with it. But now you've got so much to dive into, so I think a New Game Plus run wouldn't be the worst thing that happened to me, especially because I love Act 1 so much. So yeah, I'm really excited about what they're doing here, and I just wanted to spread some joy. There's been a lot of bad news in the gaming world as of late, no doubt. I still want to talk about what's happening with Netflix and Warner Bros. As it stands right now. Paramount's getting involved, so I want to get into all of that news this week, but I figured something a little more uplifting and exciting like this would be a nice change of pace here. So I wanted to just shout out what indie Skyrim is doing. No doubt we'll be sitting down next week to try out the game after.
Yeah, it's on the 15th, so 4 days from now. It's pretty good. Anyway, that was MrMattyPlays 10 out of 10. Bye!